Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Y'all, let's do some really fun, inexpensive, but useful crafting. Stay tuned. So I know that a lot of you have been visiting Instagram and you have seen the wonderful projects hashtagged Posh Paper Lady Inspired. And I'm telling you, they are really amazing. And I'll say this every day. If you have not been out to visit to see some of the amazing Posh Paper Lady inspired projects, you are really missing out. And if you are doing Posh Paper Lady inspired projects, guys, don't be shy. Go ahead and share what you're doing. We would love to see them. This is a very supportive group and everyone's projects are welcomed on this site. So visit Instagram and use the hashtag Posh Paper Lady Inspired and you'll be able to view as well as upload your photos to be seen by everyone. So in today's project, we're going to make the project using two things. Black poster board from the Dollar Tree, and I'm sure you guys picked some of this up when you were there picking up the white. I am using this contact paper because I've had it for about 2 months now and I've been dying to use it, and I love black and white, and this is just gorgeous. So this is what we're going to be using on today's project, and what we're going to be making from one pack of the poster board as well as one roll of contact paper, we're able to make these three projects and still have poster board and contact paper left over. So I could have made more projects than what you're seeing right here, but I stopped at these three. That means that for $2, you can make all of these projects and still have plenty of material left over to make even more projects. So what do I have here? I have this sweet little stationery note holder, and basically all it is a holder for slips of paper that you can pull out, write a note, leave it for someone, make a note to yourself, or write a sweet note to someone else and put it in an envelope and drop it in the mail to them. Then I just added a pop of color with my embellishment. So here I made some 3x3 tags, and you could also use these as note cards, but I'm going to be adding some twine to this box because I want to use these as tags, and you can see how they look when they're open. So we've got the black on the inside, then we've got our white, and then we have the beautiful contact paper on the outside, and we are popping this up with an acetate lid as well as a sweet little bow that doesn't take away from the beauty of this project. It only enhances it. And I made a really large box. This box is 5 by 6.5, 1.5 inches deep. And I made this for the purposes of making a heavily embellished card. Now I'm going to say it again. I am not a card maker. I used an Anna Griffin card making kit, and I just put all of the 3D components on it, so it makes it a very thick card that will not fit in a normal envelope. But when you make a box like this, then the box can be used as substitution for the envelope. And if you had a present and you were mailing it, you could just add this to whatever box you're using to hold the present. So we are going to make all three of these, but the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cover that poster board in contact paper. All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is I have cut off a piece of my contact paper, and I have one piece of my poster board. I will be covering 3 pieces of poster board, but with you guys, I'm only going to do 1 because the process is going to be the same, so you don't need to watch me cover all 3. But what I've done is I have cut out a piece of contact paper that will fit this 11 by 14 poster board. And then I'm simply removing my excess. And I wouldn't throw that away because you might find a use for it on another project. This would make an awesome purse handle or gift bag handle. So what I'm going to do is I am going to remove the protective backing from my contact paper. Then I can take the contact paper and just lay it down. It's very sticky. And I'll take my poster board and I'm just going to place it down. Then I'm going to flip this over, and before I trim away the excess, I'll just go ahead and smooth out any air bubbles that might be in the contact paper. Now I can flip it over using my finger blade. I am just going to remove all of the excess contact paper. And like I said, it's really sticky. So you don't want to cut into your board. You just want to use the edge of the board as the guide for removing the excess contact paper. And now we have a beautiful piece of covered poster board with which we can work and turn out some fabulous projects. I am going to go ahead and cover the other two, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I have covered my 3 pieces of 11 by 14 poster board in this awesome contact paper. And now we have 3 designer sheets that we can use in our crafting. And the beauty of it is I still have enough contact paper on this roll to cover the remaining 2 sheets of poster board that I have in that pack. That pack has 5 sheets versus the 4 sheets that you get in the white. And I could actually cover all 5 of those in this contact paper. And that would mean I would have 5 designer 11 by 14 sheets of very sturdy paper to craft with for $2. Amazing. So the first project that we're going to make this beautiful 4x4 box, and the box is 1 3/8 of an inch deep. And I am going to put 2 of my beautiful sheets to the side and bring in my scoreboard, because the first thing that we're going to need to do is we need to make our box. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to cut out a 7 by 7 piece to make our box. So I'm cutting this at 7 by 7. We will have this left over. Don't throw it away, because this is what we'll be using to make our tags. So now that I have my 7 by 7 inch piece cut, I am going to score this at 3/8 of an inch and at 1.5 on all 4 sides. So that's 3/8 of an inch and 1.5 on all 4 sides. So now I'll fold and burnish all of my scores on this sweet little box. And because we are going through contact paper as well as poster board paper, make sure that when you burnish with a little bit of pressure, because you do want to have a very crisp burnishing on those score marks. All right, guys, so once we have the scores folded and burnished, we are going to remove the 2 corner pieces. So the first thing that we need to do is, because we need to separate this tab from this flap, we'll go up to the second score mark and drag down just to separate those. And then we can come in and angle that. And because we're removing this all together, we can go ahead and angle here and then angle there. We'll do the same thing over here. So we need to separate these 2. So when we're separating, we cut straight down. Then we can angle in, remove that piece. Because we're removing this, we can now angle and remove. I'll do the remaining 2 off camera, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so now that I have all of my tabs cut out, I am going to go ahead, place glue on the tab, and then I will fold this over onto that flap, and we'll have nice tight corners. I'll use my spatula to go on the inside and get it stuck down. And I know that some of you are probably wondering if I cut myself with my finger blade, and that's why I'm wearing a band-aid. I had a little loose piece of skin there and I pulled it, and before I knew it, I had pulled it deep into my skin. So I put a band-aid on it so that it wouldn't irritate me. And I am just joining all of my sides. Use my bone folder to get everything nice and stuck. And now I'll do the last one. And I'm just going to slide that around in the glue just to make sure I have good glue coverage. And now we can add glue to these outer flaps and then fold them in. So I'll just add my glue just like that. Now I can take it, fold that in, and we can get it stuck down. And we just repeat this on all 4 sides of our box until we have all of these outer flaps folded inward, and we have our box finished off beautifully, and you'll see how that's starting to look. Okay guys, so our flaps have been folded inward. We have a beautiful box, and I gave the incorrect measurements. The depth of this box is actually 1 1/8 and not 1 3/8. So it is a 4 by 4 by 1 1/8. All right guys, so what we need to do now is we need to go ahead and make our acetate lid. And I have a piece of acetate that measures 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And what we need to do is score this at 1 1/8 on all 4 sides. And it's acetate, so you do need to give it a very deep score impression so that you'll be able to fold properly. So that's 1 1/8 on all 4 sides. And I know that y'all won't be able to see this, so I am going to use a white piece of paper to show you guys exactly what I will be doing. So I have already folded and burnished this. So what I am going to do, I will be cutting out at a slight angle on each one of my corner pieces. So I'll do that right now on this piece so that you'll see what you should end up with. So I am going to cut like this and like this on all 4 sides. And when you do this, this is what you're going to end up with. And because you can't actually see this on the acetate, I wanted to go ahead and do it on that white paper so that you could see what we're going to end up with. I am going to go ahead and do my acetate off camera because I know that you guys won't be able to see it, and I'll be right back. All right guys, so once we have the acetate cut in the way that we want it, and I don't know if y'all can actually see where I made my cuts on this, but I do have my ends cut out just as I showed you on the white paper. And all I'm going to do is reshape this, and then we should be able to take it and just put it down inside of our box. And because we have cut our sides at 1 1/8 of an inch, you should have just a little elevation there because it's not going to go all the way in, but you'll have just a slight elevation, which is a really professional look on our box. And I am going to cut out a strip because I want to add a decorative strip to my acetate. Now this is just me doing this, you don't have to do it, but I am going to take this piece and I am going to just place it on the diagonal right there to again give it a little bit of a boutique-y look, if that is such a word. Now I'm going to lay it out flat just like this, and I'll place my contact paper wherever I want it. Then I can go back and fold that piece. And now when I place it in, I have got that cute little corner on it, which really gives it a nice finished look. And on my other one, I placed a bow, and I think I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So to place my bow, I have added some dimensional pop dots to the back, and I am just going to place it down just like that. So my bow is on. Now we get to make some sweet little cards to go on the inside. So however many cards you want to make, it's totally up to you. But what I'm doing is I am bringing in that leftover paper that I had when I cut out my 7x7 to make the sweet little box. And I am going to trim this down to 6x6. Then I'll start trimming at 3 inches across my board. And then when I cut out the 7x7, I was also left with this piece of scrap. So this will give me my 4th tag. And I am simply going to cut it down to 3x6, just like the others. And from that project, this is all of the scrap that we had left over. This is it. We're using everything else to make our box, as well as the inside of the box, meaning our little tags. So I am going to fold this in half, and I will just add a very good burnishing on that score mark where I folded it. And now we have these sweet little tags that we can put in our box. We need to add an inside to those tags. So I am going to bring in some scrap. I am going to cut some little inserts at 2.5 by 2.5. I'm not going to do all of them because you'll see what I'm doing and you'll be able to do it yourself. I'll just show you a couple. So I will take my tape runner, add some tape, take my little insert, place it down, just like that. And now we have 4 really sweet tags that you can come back and add whatever embellishment you might want to add to them. I am going to leave these blank. Take my sweet little acetate lid. I really need to clean that acetate because I have my fingerprints all over it. And I have box number 1, a 4x4 by 1 1/8, and it holds 4 3x3 tags, or 4 3x3 note cards, and you can also throw in envelopes if you want, but there you go. All right, guys, so now we're going to make this handsome cutie. So simple, it's going to blow you away. So again, I am going to bring in my second piece of covered poster board. And guys, we are going to trim this to 7 by 11. So I am going to trim this down from the 14-inch side to 7 by 11. And we're going to have this piece left over, so you could actually make 2 of these boxes if you wanted to from one piece of that poster board. So I'll set that spare piece to the side, and on the 11-inch side we're going to score this at 1/2 inch and at 3 1/2, Then we're going to score it at 5 and at 10.5. Then we're going to rotate it to the 7-inch side and let's score at 1 1/2. Rotate it to the opposite 7-inch side, score at 1 1/2. And then we are going to fold and burnish all of our score marks. And again, we are going through contact paper as well as poster board, so make sure that you put a little bit of pressure when you are scoring. So here on this piece, this is that piece that we scored at 1/2 inch and then 3 1/2. We're going to take that 1/2 inch piece and fold it backwards just like that. And then we're going to take this 1/2 inch piece and fold it in just like that. So for my top piece that I'm folding in, I can use my glue because I am sticking paper to paper, and that works. And on this piece, I'm actually going to place down some tape because that contact paper acts as a resist to the glue, so we're not going to be able to use that there. But I'll put some tape right there. Now I'll lift up that tape, fold this over, and let's get that stuck. Now we're going to have this. What we need to do at this point is we need to release this center tab from these two flaps. So when we are doing the release, we go up to the score mark, drag straight down. We'll go up to the score mark, drag straight down on both, and then we can angle in, and reduce. Let's do the same thing over here. So we want to release, and that means that we go up to the first score mark, drag down, then we can angle. And then we can reduce the size. So now we can actually put this together. I am going to take my glue, place my glue on the contact paper tab here, and because I am placing glue on the contact paper but sticking it to the regular paper, it won't resist or fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this longer portion here and connecting it to the tab where I just laid down that glue. Then I'll use my big old spatula, go on the inside, get that stuck. Then I'll do the same thing over here. So I'll take this back flap, the longer piece, and I'll put it down like that. And now we can take these pieces and attach them. So I am going to take my glue, place glue all over this piece because I want to make sure that I have a very good stick. Then I'm going to put it down, and then I'll attach it, making sure that I have a very nice stick, and my goal is to make sure that when I attach it, I have this edge here hitting the inside of this piece. And when I do, I am going to use my big old spatula just to help everything to stay stuck. Now let's come over to the other side and do the same thing. So I am going to place my glue, making sure that I get my corners covered. Y'all, I go through a lot of glue. And now I'll just bring this around, and you can see how I've got the inside edge there, just hitting right on the inside edge of my front flap. So once we've got this stuck, I can use my spatula. Then I'll also go on the inside with my ruler because I want to make sure that nothing comes undone. And so now we have our little box. But what I want to do is I want to give this that angled look. And you can see how I've done that. And I am going to do this just by eyeballing, guys. So the first thing that I'm going to do is decide where I want to place my scissors. And then I'll snip. And I'll come over to this side, sort of estimate, and snip. And I am going to be satisfied with how that looks because I think it looks pretty good. So we have this sweet little box done. And guys, wasn't that super, super simple? All we need to do at this point is just fill it with some papers. All right, guys, I have the papers that I'll be putting in my pack. And these papers measure 3 3/4 by 5. And remember when I told you guys not to throw away your scraps because we can use those scraps to decorate our beautiful pieces of stationery, and it's completely up to you how you want to do it. But what I'm going to do, you can take it and put it along the top. You can bring it down some, you can run it along the side, or you could even put it at the bottom. I am going to take my contact paper and just run it along the side, just like that. So I'm only going to do one with you guys because you'll get the gist of this after you see me do it, and I'm sure you don't want to watch me go through this monotonous process of separating contact paper from the backer. So I am just going to take this, place it down just like that, flip it over, and then I'll remove this. So these are really cute like this, but let's say you are making these for a craft fair and you want to personalize them. Well, what you could do is you could go ahead and pre-stamp initials, various initials on several boxes that you make. Then if someone walks up and they want custom initials, have your stamps with you, and that way you can set yourself apart by telling them, go ahead, place your order, come pick it up in an hour, and I will have your pre-stamped set ready. And then all that's left is really to add a decorative touch if you want, and I thought that blue would be just absolutely delicious on there. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take this sweet blue piece and place it right there, and now we have box number 2 to go with our awesome ever-growing projects from 1 roll of contact paper and 1 pack of poster board. So guys, this is what's left. We need to make this large box, and then we will make a very quick card to go on the inside. So when finished, this box measures 6.5 by 5 by 1.5. So to make this box, guys, we need to cut our board down to 9 3/4 by 14. So I am just going to cut it down to 9 3/4. It's going to be a little bit tricky because I need to keep the length. So 9 3/4 by 14. So I'll go as far as I can go on my scoreboard. Then I'm going to flip it over and try to match this on removing the rest. So there's my board. I needed it to be 9 3/4 by 14. And on the 14-inch side, we're going to score this at 1, 2.5, 7.5, and 9. And then on the 9 3/4 inch side, we're going to score this at 1.5. So I will score down as far as I can go. and then I'll flip it, put it back in, and finish the score at 1.5. Then we're going to rotate it to the opposite end, and we're going to score at 1.5. And I can flip it and complete my score at 1.5. So now, guys, we need to fold and burnish all of these scores. And let's make sure that we, again, do a very deep burnishing, because we're going through contact paper and poster board. Make sure I've got them all. Okay, so what we need to do, the first thing we need to do is we need to come in and free up this tab and this tab. So we need to go up to that first score mark, drag down to release the tab. Then we can angle in on both sides of that. And then we can reduce it. And we'll do the same thing over here. So we will go up to the first score mark, drag down, angle in, and reduce. So now we're going to take our box just like this, and we are going to go up to the second score mark to free up the tab. Then we're going to go ahead and reduce that. We can angle in on that tab, and we'll do the same thing over here. Go to that second score mark, drag straight down, angle in, and reduce. And we will be left with this. Now what I want to do is I want to do just a slight reduction by angling the edges of my fold-in flap. And now we have our box that we can put together. So we are going to use these flaps, will be the glue flaps, to start anchoring the box. So let's place our glue on both of these, and then we're going to bring up the front flap, and we'll get that stuck. And then we'll bring this one and get that stuck. So we've got both of our corners done. And we'll do the same thing. We'll use our bone folder just to go in and make sure we've got a nice stick. And once we have a nice stick on this, we can take this end and glue it down. One thing that I noticed when I was actually cutting this, I scored my orientation in a way that I hadn't planned to. As Bob Ross says, there are no mistakes, there are only happy accidents. And we're still going to end up with a box that measures 5 by 6.5. We're just going to have a front flap instead of a top flap. So I am going to place my glue on this flap. I'm not going to place any glue on that piece. As a matter of fact, I'll just fold it back out of the way. And then I am going to match this up, making sure that the top is matched. And now I'll do the same thing over here. So I'm going to take that flap, fold it backwards, add my glue, and we're going to get this put together. So see guys, even I do things that I don't intend to when I'm crafting, and usually it will work out. And if it doesn't, then I'll start over. But I will usually try to find a way to make it work. So now we have our flaps that will fold in there. We can close our box just like that. Now we want to go ahead and make a card for this. All right, guys, so let's make our card. And I have a piece that measures 6 by 9.5. I am simply going to fold this in half, and I'll use my spatula to smooth everything out. And then, as I will say over and over and over, I am not a card maker. Anna Griffin is. And I love buying her card making kits, especially if I want to make one of her beautifully embellished cards. And that's what we're going to do right now. So this is not a design for me. I am using components from an Anna Griffin kit. So I am going to start with my base of this. Then what I like about the kits is you have the flowers that you can just layer. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. These flowers are stickers. If you want to make them even more dimensional, in Anna's kits, she will always give you the pop dots, and you can make it even more dimensional if you want. But I am just going to lay that down on top of that one, and then I'll lay this one down right here on top of that. You see how quickly this gorgeous little card is coming together? And that's going to go on there just like that. And then I have wishing you a fantastic birthday. That I am going to pop up. So I'll just take a few of my pop dots and then just pop these up. This really takes the guesswork out of making cards for me, because all I need to do is take the components and then just match it up in a way that works for me. So I am going to take this here that says wishing you a fantastic birthday. I am going to pop that right in the middle. Then I'm going to use a pop dot because I want to add that little bow right there to finish it off. So I'm going to add a dot here and a dot here. And this is truly a dimensional card, so you would not be able to place it in a standard envelope. Before I put that on though, I'm going to go ahead and add my glue to the back so that I can get this stuck. And we'll have yet another beautiful card. Now that I have that down, I'll just take my bow, place it right there, and there I have a gorgeous little card. And all I need to do is add something to write on in the inside. So I'm going to take one of my pieces that measure 3 3/4 by 5, add some tape runner to that, put that down on the inside. Now I have this beautiful card that will fit nicely inside my box. I don't have to worry about that card coming out at all. So guys, I think what I want to do is I want to do just a very light embellishing to this. So I am going to take that little flower there. So then I have this little happy birthday banner. I'm going to add some glue to the back of that. Now I can take that, put it down just like that. And now we have a sweet dimensional birthday card along with the box that is large enough to hold the dimension of that card. So I am going to bring everything back in so that y'all can see all of this goodness that we were able to make using one roll of Dollar Tree contact paper and 1 pack of Dollar Tree poster boards, and we still had contact paper and poster board left over to boot. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed these 3 fun projects. If you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys have a great day. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.